You wonder what happened. Was someone else at fault? If so, do they have insurance? What if you're at fault? Do you have enough insurance? Are you going to lose your house? People don't realize or check to see how much insurance they have until you have a catastrophic accident like this. We'll show you very inexpensively how you can protect you, your family, your relatives, and your businesses through insurance. This is, we have 10 lawyers now, 5 locations. We've had cases recently where the insurance company will call our clients the night of the accident or the next day, and they'll take what may appear to be an innocuous statement. And they'll ask, well, were you drinking? Were you talking? Were you distracted? Because in Maryland, if you're partially at fault, then you're precluded from collecting. So insurance companies would dig and try to elicit some reason why they do not have to pay. But we've had some where they'll say, we're going to send you a check. So the clients get a little check in the mail for a couple $1,000, and they may assume it's for PIP or lost wages or rental or property damage, and they sign the check. Many months later, we'll try to negotiate a settlement. The insurance companies will say, the check that your client signed had a little print on the back that says, this is a final release. And that's the end of the case. So please, no matter what the situation is, always talk to a lawyer before you talk to insurance companies. And most of the time before you talk to police. Okay, this here, other than the lawyers that are here, if you were under that vehicle and it fell, do you think you would prevail in litigation? Who thinks they would or not? There's a picture of a pickup truck held up by some 4x4s. Ms. Louie, what do you think? If you were under this pickup truck and it collapsed on you, do you think you would prevail in litigation?
No, no.
What do you think, Wanda?
No.
No, why? You may say because of stupidity that
It's stupidity.
but what if the person's an employee? If you're an employee and it's workman's comp, then you may prevail.
Yeah. Then you employ
This is a picture I took 4 weeks ago. Our client was in the right front of this vehicle. They died. Guess how much insurance was on this vehicle? None. Guess how long it was uninsured? 4 years. I calculate there's between 45 and 50 million drivers in the States now that drive without insurance. We get them all the time. If you're in the city, someone's going to run into you, and if they don't shoot you or take your car, they're going to run into you and take off. So what do you do in the city or anywhere if someone runs into you and they take off? Who do you sue? Of course, the lawyers. Beg pardon? Beg pardon? Face them. Go chase them. Good luck. Okay, in the city, you want to chase someone down the street? Good luck. They'll be chasing you. So usually, if you can learn the identity of the people, you could probably sue them if they have insurance. If not, then you have to resort to probably your phantom vehicle coverage on your car. And all the clients come in, they have full coverage, Geico and State Farm. And we look at their policies, but they have minimal full coverage. How many people here know what minimal coverage is in Maryland? Rhonda, how much?
30,000.
30,000, correct. So if you have insurance, Maryland only requires 30,000. A lot of states, much less. Florida does not require any liability insurance. So therefore, you better have high uninsured motorists, and we'll talk about that. And the surprisingly part, it's very inexpensive. When people come in, we have a sign. It's not how badly you're injured, but by whom. If it's a truck, we're going to have probably $1 million. If it's a car, if they have any, then they have the state minimum. The question here is, we haven't received the police report. We're trying to figure out who's at fault. If the other truck that hit them is at fault, they probably have good coverage. It was a new vehicle. If the person driving this vehicle was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, she's probably going to jail for manslaughter. All I know is her right front passenger was killed. There's no insurance. and the child in the back was fleeing a shock trauma. This just happened right up here at Route 7 and Edgewood Road. This here. How could you collect if you were if you're involved in this accident? Give me some reasons you can collect money and how. Mr. Lilly, what do you think? 2-car accident. Where are you going to get the money from? Your lawyer better. Many. First, if you're in one car, maybe the other person's at fault. What if you're a passenger? Then you could probably sue both. What if your wife was driving? Could you sue your wife?
Yes.
Well, we have one of each. Years ago, you couldn't. Now you can sue your wife to get to your insurance.
We're in the same issue. If I run into my wife in her car and not in my car, I can't sue her. We have the same insurance company.
I think you can. Right, Kevin? Yeah, I think you can, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can.
I actually had that case. Husband and wife, and he was following her and she stopped suddenly and he rear-ended her. She was injured and we made a claim against it.
Harry, shoot a wife that happened between us.
Okay, maybe neither of these cars are at fault. Maybe some phantom vehicle pulled out, caused the accident. So then maybe you could sue both of them and the vehicle that took off. Maybe an airbag deployed when it shouldn't have. You may have a product liability case. What if this person's at fault? And they're working for their employer at the time? Then you can sue their employer. What if you're in the course of your employment at the time? Then you have workman's comp. It goes on and on. Usually we would look and usually find several sources of recovery. Maybe this person just had his car fixed and the brakes failed. Then you go against whoever fixed the brakes. We'll talk about PIP and MedPay. In Maryland, you can have PIP, personal injury protection. We asked and preached that everyone carry that. It's very inexpensive. A lot of people waive it. If you have it, you have to have at least 2,500 hours. That's money in your pocket, no matter who's at fault, and it covers you and each occupant. I carry 10,000, but at least carry the 2,500. And you do not have to pay that money back.
Is it 2,500 per person?
Yes, ma'am. So if you have 4 persons, you get 10,000. And the beauty is it's non-subrogational. We don't have to pay it back. If you Blue Cross and Blue Shield pays, they're going to want their money back. You may have a disability policy here. You may end up getting Social Security or something like that. So we'll look for a way of collecting the money. Also, if you're in this vehicle and there's not enough coverage with this vehicle or this one or the one that took off, and then you go to your insurance company, hopefully you have high uninsured coverage. If not, you can also collect money from a relative with whom you reside. We'll talk about that also.